Today we're going to talk about saving money and living in the UAE. Now I'm not going to tell you save. There's going to be a little twist to this video. Continue watching till the end to find out. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Kenneth and you're watching Boss Your Money. If you find this video informative and valuable, please don't forget to hit the like button because that really does help me out a lot. And if you do want to see more personal finance videos, especially focused around the UAE residents, then please don't forget to subscribe as well. Let's get straight to the video. Alright, so here's the thing. You might have heard a lot of people tell you to save money. I'm not one of those people. I really don't believe that there is a lot of value in just saving money. And that is because of inflation. Now, I'm not going to get too much in detail about inflation, but essentially what it means is that if you can buy something for 10 dirhams today, you cannot afford the same item for the same 10 dirhams in a year or two. And that's because what that item